Comcast is expanding their efforts through Project Up, their comprehensive initiative to help build a future of unlimited possibilities. Backed by a $1 billion commitment to reach tens of millions of people over the next decade, Comcast is working to ensure all Philadelphians have the skills, resources, and opportunities they need to participate and excel in an increasingly digital world. This includes partnering with community experts to build a network of digital navigators, trusted individuals who help build awareness around initiatives like the government's Affordable Connectivity Program, and teach critical digital skills to get more people online. Project Up, building a future of unlimited possibilities. Learn more at comcast.com/Project Up. Through Project Up, Comcast is committing $1 billion to build a future of unlimited possibilities.
Tuesday's Mega Million jackpot now has an estimated annuity of $425 million. $425 million. So don't forget to play at your local retailer or online. Pennsylvania Lottery proceeds benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
85 years ago, Independence Blue Cross was founded to provide peace of mind when accessing health care. Our first members were employees of Independence Hall. We started where our country started. I'm Greg Devins, CEO of Independence, thanking you for making us the leading health insurer in the region and the only health plan you need to know. Our promise for the last 85 years and the next 85 is to deliver the quality healthcare coverage you and your families deserve.
I love this song! I love nachos.
Loving everything? You might be buzzed.
You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Celebrating Black excellence worldwide and bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on WURDradio.com and the Word Radio app. The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on Word Radio do not necessarily reflect those of the ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
All right, people, write something on the board. Let's spell it. First letter.
L O G.
What's that?
What?
It's time. It's time to have real, honest, open, difficult, and inspiring conversations. It's time for Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Hello, and welcome. Welcome to Love and Life with yours truly, Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at WURDradio.com. Here we are, Monday, February 12th, family. Ooh. How are you doing? How was your weekend? How's your day going so far? Let me know. You know I want to know. I ask you every single week because I want to know how you're doing. I want to know that all is well with and for you and yours. So I told you that because we are celebrating Black History Month, that we would share Black History moments. So I do have one today. Yes, I do. Of course I do. As we continue our Black History Month celebration, today's Black History celebratory moment is about Rosa Parks and Claudette Colvin. Yes, indeed. So on March 2nd, 1955, Claudette Colvin was arrested at the age of 15 in Montgomery, Alabama, for refusing to give up her seat to a white woman on a crowded, segregated bus. This occurred 9 months before the more widely known incident in which Rosa Parks, secretary of the local chapter of the NAACP, helped spark the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott. Claudette Colvin was one of 4 plaintiffs in the first federal court case filed by civil rights attorney Fred Gray on February 1st, 1956, as Browder versus Gale. It was to challenge bus segregation in the city. Ultimately, the Supreme Court declared segregation on public transportation to be unconstitutional as a result of Browder versus Gale. For many years, Montgomery's Black leaders did not publicize Claudette Colvin's pioneering effort. She said herself that young people think Rosa Parks just sat down on a bus and ended segregation, but that wasn't the case at all. She did not say that in a negative way, so let's be clear on that. What she shared was that her case was dropped by civil rights campaigners because she was unmarried and pregnant during the proceedings. It is now widely accepted that she was not accredited by civil rights campaigners at the time due to her circumstances. Rosa Parks stated if the white press had gotten a hold of that information, they would have had a field day. They'd call her a bad girl and her case would not have had a chance. Family Colvin, Claudette Colvin, is still alive today. She is 84 years of age today. So we celebrate today Claudette Colvin and Rosa Parks. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Family, that's today's Black History celebratory moment. I want to send some love to all of our love bugs that are celebrating a birthday as well. Happy birthday to you. Yes, indeed. Sending all of you oodles of celebratory love. And I want to extend my gratitude to everyone that came out and everyone that wanted to do so to the shows that I had this past weekend. Always a blast with the Gerald Beasley family and crew, and with the Will Downing crew as well. And special thanks to our very own beloved Just Rick for his support. He came, he was hanging out with us. It's always so nice to see all of you family in person. It really, really is. So family, you know what I like to do? If you are hanging out with us by way of socials, check in, send us some love. Yes. Send us some love. You know what I don't want to forget to mention is I wanted to say thank you to everybody that was coming out. I would be terribly remiss if I did not mention Mr. and Mrs. Smitty. That's what I called them at the show. But Darren Toms, I hope you're listening or watching, Smitty, Mr. and Mrs. It was so much fun seeing you as well. We had a good little time laughing. But anyway, let's continue. Let's continue because we have so much to cover tonight. Family, if you're joining us by way of socials, let us know. Share a comment or give us a call. You know, you can do that by dialing 215-634-8065. You can even call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. You know, Nick and I love the love you share with us any way you care to share it. For our family members who are joining us today with heavy hearts, I just want you to know, on behalf of your entire tribe and village, that you are loved and you are not alone. You hear me? Even if your light is just a little bit dim today, just know that we've got you. We've got you. We are right here. Okay. So family, I mentioned just a moment ago about seeing you all in person. Well, guess what? I am beyond excited about tomorrow's event, Love and Life's very first in-person event. And you know what? I cannot wait. I can't wait. But guess what? Our Love and Life Connection event is completely sold out. I love it. Thank you so much to those of you who registered. Thank you. Family, make sure you listen to the live broadcast, though. Tomorrow, Tuesday, February 13th, from 7 p.m. until 9 p.m., hosted by yours truly, Carol Riddick, and our very own Dr. Marquita Williams. You can listen on Word Radio 900 AM and 96.1 FM, online at wordradio.com or in the Word Radio app. Family, this event is brought to you by City Winery, the Pennsylvania Lottery, and in partnership with Bayou Lounge and Bar. Now, listen, I know you know that February is a month of love. Well, Word has an exclusive new collection for this month only. That's right. That's right. Our I Love Word collection features a t-shirt, stemless wine glass, hoodie, water bottle, coffee mug, and a tote bag. Yes, it does. And guess what? If you're a member, then you can get these brand new items for 50% off in our Word shop. So what you do, join or renew now. To get the discount code via email, just simply go to wordradio.com/I love word. That's LUV. Just to start shopping now and show your love for your favorite radio station. Family, that's wordradio.com/ILUVWURD. That's right. That's right. It's simple. It's simple. One last thing before we dig in. We've got some tickets to give away tonight, family. Yes, we do. Bristol Riverside Theater presents Lorraine Hainsbury's A Raisin in the Sun on Saturday, February 17th at 8 p.m. Set in 1950s Chicago, the 5 members of the Younger family are each looking for ways to improve their lot through education, business, real estate, and sheer self-determination. The arrival of a long-awaited life insurance check promises life-changing opportunities. If you'd like to see one of the greatest plays ever written, well, guess what? We're giving away a pair of tickets to the third caller to dial 215-634-8065. That's right. That's right. But you should know you cannot win if you've won a prize from us in the past 30 days. You should also know that masking is optional. Family, that is Lorraine Hansberry's A Raisin in the Sun on Saturday, February 17th at 8 p.m. Presented by Bristol Riverside Theater. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, family, let's get started, shall we? Shall we? Shall we? Our first new family member, I should say, new family member, because Dr. Bowen hasn't visited with us before. Our new family member for tonight is Dr. Earl Bowen Jr. He's the head of counseling and psychological services at Cheney University. Dr. Bowen's research background addresses the psychosocial implications of prostate cancer among African American men and helping students handle the stresses of college life. Oof. In January of 2015, his work on prostate cancer survivorship among this population was published in the Journal of Research and Development and was subsequently in the International Journal of Neurorehabilitation. Family, Dr. Bowen Jr. is here to talk with us about how men should navigate prostate cancer, how to prevent getting prostate cancer, and why it's so important for men to get screened for prostate cancer. How about that? Family, I invite you to the conversation with none other than Dr. Earl Bowen Jr. Well, hello there, Dr. Bowen.
Hi, Carol. It's great to be with you tonight. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here. It's such a pleasure. And I was sharing with you before we went on air. I said, I can't wait to have this conversation because, you know, as a woman, we should be knowledgeable as well so we can help our men.
Absolutely. I find that really women are very instrumental in getting men to go ahead and take the initiative to go and make that appointment to see the doctor. And yeah, it's so important. The other thing is that, I am a prostate cancer survivor myself, just full disclosure. And so in so many instances, when you have that diagnosis, you're not thinking clearly. You really need somebody with you. And I find that women are really the best advocates for men when it comes to prostate cancer and the questions that they need to pose. There's some very specific questions that need to be posed to doctors. And sometimes, unless you have that list handy, you'll forget all about it until you leave the doctor's office. So I can't overemphasize the importance of women.
I think the work. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm terribly sorry. I was going to say, I think the word cancer scares us all.
Yeah, it does. I really like to focus for probably, maybe if it's okay, the early part of my talk on what I call prostate health. Because prostate cancer, of course, is a diagnosis, but a lot of times we're simply talking about prostate health and not really cancer. So I think that's an important point that men need to understand. There's some terminology that sounds like it could be complex, but it's pretty simple. As the fact is, as men grow older, the risk of prostate issues just tends to increase, and that's really not that unusual. So what happens a lot of times is that men have what's called an enlarged prostate. That doesn't mean that they have prostate cancer, but they may have an enlarged prostate.
Dr. Bowen, if I might interject for one moment, because I am not knowledgeable at all in this area, what exactly is a prostate?
Well, I'm thrilled you posed that question, because I found out that most men don't have a clue on that. So,
okay,
real quick, is the prostate is a small gland in men. It's about the size and shape of a walnut. It sits low in the pelvis, below the bladder, and just in front of the rectum. So the prostate helps make semen. It's that milky fluid that carries sperm from the testicles through the penis when a man has an ejaculation. The prostate surrounds part of the urethra, a tube that carries urine out of the bladder and through the penis. So the prostate is very, very important.
It sure is. Wait a minute.
And sexuality.
They don't teach that in high school. Wait a minute.
I know. So actually, I start with that basic, just some of those bullet points, talking to men to make sure, because a lot of men just they don't have a clue, and so we start with very basic knowledge of what is the prostate and how it changes as
I was just about to ask you. So I was about to ask if it changes as men age, and if so, how?
Yeah. What happens, Carol, is the prostate gland tends to grow larger with age, and it may squeeze the urethra and cause problems in passing urine. So sometimes men in their 30s and 40s may begin to have these symptoms and need medical attention. But for others, symptoms are not noticed until much later in life. And so what happens a lot of times is an infection or a tumor can also make the prostate larger. Not cancer, but an infection or a tumor. So it's important that men tell their doctor if they have some urinary symptoms. And some of these urinary symptoms are things like passing urine more during the day, having an urgent need to pass urine, having less urine flow, feeling a burning when you pass urine, and sometimes needing to get up many times during the night to pass urine. If you start to see some of these symptoms occurring, my message is do not ignore and do not procrastinate, but go and seek help just to get an opinion. And as I said before, this does not necessarily mean cancer.
Right.
It just could mean an infection, or it could mean a tumor, which can be treated.
So should the prostate of a man be checked throughout his life, or should regular checkups begin at a certain age?
Well, what happens for most men is that it starts for Black men, I would say in the age of in the 40 plus range. But for other men, I would say probably in the 50s, because it is something that we have to look at. The thing about particularly Black men is that this disease tends to start at a younger age and it grows faster than men of other races. So things like knowing your family history. So men whose fathers or brothers have had prostate cancer, men who have immediate family members who have had prostate cancer, that means that you could be at a higher risk. The other thing, though, that, I think is important just to make mention of is diet. So what we know from research is that it may be higher for men who eat high-fat diets. So diet is also an important factor.
It's very important.
It's age, diet, it's family members who have already had prostate cancer, knowing what the risk factors are and being proactive as opposed to reactive.
Sure. If I might interject for one moment, that's so much to digest, but we're going to dig into the OMG, Dr. Bowen, but we're so grateful for that information. Family, hi there. Hello and welcome to each and every one of you, but especially if you've just joined us. You are tuned in to Love and Life right here on WURD. Family, I see you. I see you commenting. And guess what? I can't wait to read your comments. What we're going to do, though, before I do that, is take a short commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to dig even deeper into this. But family, you also know that you're invited to the conversation. And if you didn't know, well, I'm telling you now. So feel free to give us a call because I know you might have a comment or even a question for Dr. Bowen. And we welcome that. We welcome that. You are welcome to call us at 215-634-8065, or you can call us toll free at 1-866-361-0900. In the meantime, though, in between time, like I was saying, we're going to take just a short commercial break. Well, you know what? I should mention too, you can even share your comment or your question on our socials, and I'll do my best to read it aloud when we come back from the commercial break. So family, stay with us because we are coming right back.
Did you know that on average, customers who use natural gas from PGW for heating, cooking, and clothes drying save more money on their energy bills per year than those that don't? And right now, a LIHEAP grant from PGW can help you save even more. Don't miss out on up to $1,000 of free money. It's simple. Just text money to 77037 or visit pgworks.com/LIHEAP. That's MONEY to 77037. PGW, helping ease minds this winter. Tune in to Eco Word Magazine, hosted by POC, the first Friday at 10 a.m. for the PA Lottery Eco Word Fact of the Month. Brought to you by PA Lottery, benefiting older Pennsylvanians every day.
Having low income can mean making tough choices. Choosing between paying for food or medication or a place to live is a reality for many people. Do you know someone who could use some extra help? Find out about the Supplemental Security Income Program, SSI, administered by Social Security. You could receive monthly SSI payments if your income and financial resources are low and you are 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. SSI is money you can use to help pay for basic needs, like putting food on the table, keeping the lights on, paying the rent. It can mean new shoes for growing feet or help with medical needs. Call 1-800-772-1213 or visit ssa.gov/SSI to schedule an appointment or start to apply today. That's ssa.gov/SSI. This message produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Stand with Word Radio as we continue to provide dynamic, progressive programming to inform and empower our people. We're living in unprecedented times, and we must stand together to protect and preserve Black Talk Media. Become a 4Word member with the annual membership price of just $90 or a digital member starting at just $5 per month. If you're already a 4Word member, sign up, family member, or friend to help us continue making history. Start or renew your 4Word membership today. Visit wordradio.com/4word or wordradio.com/membership.
No, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Dr. Earl Bowen Jr. in this hour, and we are talking about prostate health, family. That's what we're talking about. I do want to acknowledge some of our family members have been checking in. Yes, I see you. I see you. Brother Nasir, hi there. He shares peace and blessings with everybody, and you know we share them right back to you. Darren, there's Smitty. Hey, Darren Toms is saying hello. Hey, Smitty. Hey, Smitty. Saying hello, family and friends, and thank you so much for the love. He had a good time at the show he shares. Thank you so much. Malcolm White. Hey there, brother Malcolm. He's joining us and he's sharing that he is watching and listening from West Mount Airy. You know, I love that message. I love it every time you write it. Thank you, Malcolm. Gary Bryant is checking in as well. Hi there, brother Gary. Sending love. Lenord. Hi there, Lenord Wheeler is sending love as well. Malcolm shares that. Oh, you know what, Malcolm? Please email me about that. Email me about that. Okay. Make sure you do that. Make sure you do that. He knows what I'm talking about. Heather, hey there, beautiful. She's joining us as well. She's sending love to the entire family. Nicole P is joining us from Burbank, California, and she shares, thank you very much, Dr. Bowen, for this great information. She says, good evening, everyone. The beautiful Joanne Dormont is checking in as well. Hi there. She sends peace and blessings as well. Malcolm shares that sadly he was recently diagnosed with the early stages of prostate cancer, and he's in the process of the scans, but he might have radiation soon.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you, Dr. Bowen, if we could talk about that for in a moment. Lenord asks, should you have a physical and blood work done or just one or the other? Also, should this be done yearly?
Okay. Very, very good question. You really need to have, first of all, physical exam needs to be done yearly at the least. I know in my case, it was because I was having physical exams done on an annual basis that my doctor at the time was a doctor at the University of Pennsylvania who noticed that my PSA level was elevated. I'll talk a little bit about PSA in a few minutes, so hopefully before we end, because that's important. It does relate to blood work. So the importance of getting an annual exam is that you need to make sure that when you talk to your doctor, that you let your doctor know that he or she also needs to check your PSA level. And sometimes it would entail men don't particularly like this, but it's a digital rectal exam. I know it sounds kind of painful thinking about it for most men, but it's really an exam that lasts maybe 10 or 15 seconds. The DRE, or the digital rectal exam, is a standard way to check the prostate. And what happens, the doctor will have on a glove and a lubricated finger. So the doctor uses that to feel the prostate from the rectum, and it checks the size, the firmness, and the texture of the prostate. Look at hard areas, lumps, or growth spreading beyond the prostate. So if there's any pain caused by touching or pressing the prostate, it could be an indication. So the PSA is another way to help your doctor check for the health of your prostate, which is one reason why I really appreciate you, Carol, for saying prostate health, because a lot of this it just needs to be part of your overall physical exam. So I just talked about the DRE. I'll talk about the PSA in a minute. But
Okay. So I have one question for you. So the physician is checking for size and texture.
Yes. Right.
Okay. So changes in either.
Yes.
Or something about, okay. I wanted to go to our phone lines for a moment. One of our family members is calling in. I'm sorry, Dr. Bowen. Hello there, family member. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you for your patience as well, and welcome to the conversation.
Yes. Happy Valentine's Day, Cal. Happy Valentine's Day, Doctor. Happy
Valentine's Day, Ron.
Thank you.
Doctor, I would like to welcome you, Doctor, to the Love Zone, and that's where you're at now here on Love and Life at WURD.
Okay.
We certainly hope this song is dedicated to you for being one of the guests, because we have had many, but because you're here tonight, the song is go, love is an splendid thing. Love is nature's way of giving a reason to be living. And we're glad that you are living because you are here on Love and Life. And so we certainly hope. And this program here that we have, Cal mentioned some of the people already that typed in to let you know that they was out there. Our lead call, Malcolm, our producer, Mr. Nicholas, and of course, Cal Reddy, the founder of love. She didn't create love, but she took and brought it on this program here to bring people on like you to help us in what you're here tonight. And we're glad for her for that. You know, Doctor, I'm 80 years of age.
Oh, boy.
I just got my test is back last. I got a good primary doctor.
Okay, good.
Japan. And I want to talk about, I want you to write this down. I want you to write it down for him. Okay. I want you to get the movie called The Fantastic Voyage. I don't know if you remember that 1967 it came out, where the man traveled through the body, and it showed you how all the mechanisms in your body, how it works. I found it to be very educational. Wow. I've never forgotten that. When I look at myself in my condition I am at 80 years of age, my body works perfectly. In that area that you're talking about now,
yes, sir.
At 12 o'clock at night, when the body resets and you lie down, at any time after 12, especially 2 o'clock in the morning, that area down there, that system for me, have always worked, very strong, very strong.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad about it. My energy, my tests came back. I'm very happy with that. The only problem I have is just a little arthritis in reference to my longevity on this earth.
Wow.
And you know, Doctor, and I think I was telling someone the other day, and maybe Cal, when you would talk about that, when you look at President Biden, can you tell by his footsteps that he may have prostate cancer? Can you, by the way, his steps he takes? So I'm saying all this to say one thing, Doctor. I know we have a lot of concerns in this country with everything, but I still say that we are in a pretty good country, Doctor. At least that we have access to medical attention. When we look back at my age, when I was young, we didn't have a lot of health care, but the elders used things back there with your parents and them that really helped us on this journey. Your diets are very important. And some of those things that I have gotten, from the lady that raised me, Doctor, I am going pretty strong. But remember, Doctor, I say this all the time. I'm not talking melodramatic or anything like that. I want all my people and all people to cry, Doctor. It's a cleansing in that process. It's not about all sad things. When you take inventory and look what we have, your parents and them have given you, there's cleansing in tears. All tears are not sadness or nothing like that. So we welcome you to Love and Life with Malcolm and all you guys. Thank you very much for being a member of Love and Life in WRD. You don't realize what it does, and I want to put the emphasis on this. It makes Cal feel very, very happy. She's a person that have achieved so much. That goes without saying. And to have the vision to come back in her city and to have something like this to take away from the tedious stuff in life. So with your family, Doctor, one other thing, and it's something maybe, I know Cal auntie, her auntie, I don't know if your parents did this. Excuse me, got my cup running over. I hope that you can bring your family together with them. I don't know if your mother and them did it, but the lady did it with me that raised me, Doctor. You want to give them some sort of symbol and pass that down from generation to generation. I told my primary doctor one time, she said, Ryan, have nobody ever mentioned something like that? She said, I've never heard that before. And it was something I mentioned to her, and she was so appreciative. So what I'm saying, Doctor, give yourself. That's love, Doctor. And what we have on this show here, we're not talking about flirtation or, Dr. Warren trying to run with somebody and nothing like that. Isn't it wonderful to know, Doctor, that you have contributed in this world and in this country? So may Cal and all y'all be blessed.
You as well, Ron.
To care for one another. Because there's cleansing in caring.
Yes.
There's cleansing, Doctor. You look back at your mom and them. They
There
didn't have
is.
all right, so I'll go my cup running over. And everyone have a blessed Valentine's Day. But remember this. I gave a lady on Valentine's Day, you're supposed to give them candy. I gave her a bottle of whiskey.
Oh, Ron.
Candy, but liquor's quicker.
Oh, Ron, happy Valentine's Day. Oh my goodness. Ron is a mess. Thank you, Ron. Happy Valentine's Day to you, and thank you. Dr. Bowen, you were about to talk with us about PSA levels.
Yeah, I'm going to go to PSA. I just want to say to Brother Ron and also Carol is that we're starting a support group for men, but also women are invited at Temple University, the main campus on Broad in Ontario. And this is really through the generosity of Fox Chase Cancer Center and Temple University, who's providing that facility for us. That's going to be beginning, I believe it's the first week in April, but I'll leave some contact information on that. And that's just for men to come together as a support group, which will be dealing with these topics and other things that Brother Ron brought up as well.
But women are welcome to attend as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, our emphasis is on men, women, and also on the families and on communities at large, primarily in the Black community.
So, Dr. Bowen, I hate interjecting because this is such an important topic. But I see some of our family members are commenting and they have some questions. And I know we only have you for an hour tonight. One of our questions is at what age should we start monitoring our prostate?
Well, I think for Black men, it needs to start probably in the mid-40s. We need to start making that a part of our annual exam. And it's I said, and it's really because Black men, we'd have the highest incidence rate and the highest mortality rate of prostate cancer, and compared to all of the other groups.
Is that greatly due to diet?
Well, I think there are many factors. I mean, diet, of course, is one.
Okay.
I'm actually going to be working on a research study very soon. And we're going to be looking at environmental factors like zip codes.
Really?
To see how prostate cancer starts to develop and evolve out of those conditions. So we're looking at, not only genetic
different factors,
but also looking at social, environmental factors as well.
Harold shares that his family has a history of this, so he gets a yearly exam and blood work. I have a question for because a few of our family members have mentioned blood work, but I have a question about that. Eric shares, just Rick. He shares, good evening. Welcome to the Love and Life platform, Dr. Bowen. He's an African-American male, and 90% of his elders had issues with various types of cancer. All are deceased in a better place. Amen. Is it more essential for people of color to have cancer issues? And should they research this early in their family tree?
Yeah, the most important thing, I would say one of the most important things is communication with family members. Even if a person has passed away, you really want to get some information about what was the cause of death. Because I think what you'll start to see is sometimes it does not mean necessarily that that's going to happen to you, but there's a genetic predisposition.
Sure.
And so you really want to have that. And a lot of times families don't always talk about these things. I mean, I was kind of surprised to hear Secretary Austin, as you know, who is I believe he's the defense secretary, did not really talk a lot about prostate cancer until later. But he's just one example. But I think men in general, from what I've found, don't talk about this nearly as much. And I think one of the reasons also is because, it impacts a man's sexuality as well as his masculinity. And sometimes those two things tied in together.
Yes, indeed.
So, you tend to talk more about sports and maybe politics.
To that point, we'll be talking about sports in the next hour because we've got to do our Super Bowl recap. So you hit the nail on the head. I do want to share. Malcolm shares that he had elevated PSA levels, which sparked the concern. He had a biopsy, and now we're walking through the process. But he shares that God, praise God, it was caught early. But the doctors want to make sure that it won't spread anywhere else because he's had bone marrow cancer. Family, for those of you who have just joined us, welcome. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Dr. Earl Bowen, and we're talking about prostate health. When we come back from this commercial break, Dr. Bowen, I am going to ask this question now, but when we come back from the commercial break, I'm going to ask if you wouldn't mind answering it, sharing with us from your experience, what are some things that men can do better to take care of their prostate? Family, stay with us because we're coming right back.
Bring your family and friends to celebrate Temple mascot Hooter the Owl's birthday at the Temple versus UTSA men's basketball game on Sunday, February 18th at 2 p.m. at the Leocore Center. Meet local mascots at the game, enjoy face painters and activities on the concourse, and take part of the picture-taking and autograph session with the Temple players after the game. Kids' tickets on game day are only $10. Visit owltix.com.
Happy birthday!
And we're live here outside the Perez family home, just waiting for and there they go, almost on time this morning. Mom is coming out the front door strong with a double-arm kid carry. Looks like Dad has the bags. Daughter is bringing up the rear. Oh, but the diaper bag wasn't closed. Diapers and toys are everywhere. Ooh, but Mom has just nailed the perfect car seat buckle for the toddler. And now the eldest daughter, who looks to be about 9 or 10, has secured herself in the booster seat. Dad zips the bag closed, and they're off. But looks like Mom doesn't realize her coffee cup is still on the roof of the car. And there it goes. Oh, that's a shame. That mug was a fam favorite.
Don't sweat the small stuff. Just nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Learn more at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Long nose, what's the word, boy? What's the word? What's the word?
WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Hey there, family. Welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We're talking with Dr. Earl Bowen about prostate health. Before the commercial break, I did ask a question, but I'm going to put a pin in that for a moment because one of our family members has called in and is calling in. Hello, and thank you so much for joining the conversation, and welcome.
Yes, good evening.
Good
to
evening.
You and the doctor. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, because my radio turned up so loud and downstairs. But when he said females are welcome, then that, made me taste some sour grapes. I don't think they should come.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that, every time they have something for them there, here come the female. They want to come. I have to bring my husband, whatever. Bring them and leave them and go back to your business. Because together I feel like they could ask a lot of questions and things, that they wouldn't normally ask. That's just my opinion. Thank you.
Oh, well, Ann, wait, don't run. Don't run, Ann. You still there?
Yes.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing your opinion. We do welcome that. We most certainly welcome your opinion. That's why I invite you to call in, talk with us. But, I was sharing that because I think, in our community, we don't talk enough about anything, quite honestly, but especially and particularly as it pertains to our health. And the good doctor already shared that we as women, we tend to nudge our men to go to the doctor and get checked out. But I think it's also good for us to be knowledgeable too. You don't think so?
I do the same thing. Nudge them and get them checked out. And when they go to this open event, all right, after 2 or 3 hours, I don't know how long we're going to be, and the men have their opportunity to ask their question and things, then they should let the women in. I still say they ought to go sit down somewhere. Thank you.
You're welcome, man. Ann said, sit down. She said, sit down, don't go. Hey, well, you know what? Again, welcome your opinion. So welcome your opinion. But for those women who are interested in taking part and helping your men and also becoming knowledgeable about what's going on now, and nobody said you had to go to every meeting. We don't want you to go to everyone now, but we do want you to be able to help your man, gain some information for yourself, gain some knowledge, because your significant other won't be the only man in your life. And it might be helpful to have an education about what's going on in these men's lives, so that we can be a better help. We're helpmates, right? That's what we are. Let's get some information and help one another. That's what we do. That's what we do. We take care of each other. And look at that. Smitty shares, thanks to his wife, he had his test done. I love it. I love it. I love it. Eric shares that his aunt and uncle literally kept their cancer issues a secret from everybody for quite a while. And he shares, I don't know why people do that when they're sick. See, and you hung up too fast. We could have asked you. You could have contributed to that conversation. But I think as just generally, we've kept things to ourselves. Most of us like to get through it, get past it, But here on Love and Life, we talk about these things because I happen to believe that communication is key, and because I happen to also believe that we are to help one another. And I believe that, listen, knowledge is power. The more you know. Now, nobody said you had to go taking over or doing anything. You can go, you can gain some knowledge, and you can be helpful to your significant other. That goes for both men and women. That's my own personal opinion. Okay, that's just me. That's just me. So, Joanne, hi there. She shares, she's always concerned about our males. We need one another. Hello, we do. I agree with that. We do. We need one another. We need to help one another. We need to be able to help one another. We can't do so if we're not educated. So, Dr. Bowen, the answer to the question that I did ask was, from your experience, what are some things that you believe men can do to better take care of their prostate?
Well, first of all, just real quick response to the caller about women not being there. I think, this is really a family issue. I mean, although the men are the people who are immediately affected, but every man is somehow impacted by or through his family. And so the issue really becomes looking at how do you get families to engage around this issue. And so that's part of the thinking behind having input from women. But, people make that decision on their own. As I mentioned in my case, my wife was very helpful because there were questions that I didn't even think about that she did. And she took very good notes and very detailed. But I think people have to decide on their own what they think is important, how they proceed. And our men's support group is really an area to try to address that because it is ongoing. And I mean, as I think about it, we might even have special sessions where we do have just men and sometimes just women. But we're just starting in April, so we're going to see how it goes. And hopefully I can come back at another time and give you another report on it. In terms of your other question about things that men can do, I think one of the main things is to be armed with knowledge. And I find that a lot of men, things like knowing different types of doctors. So we all know about a family doctor, but then there are physician assistants, nurse practitioners, urologists, oncologists. So you might go to your doctor, but you may need to see a urologist or oncologist. These are people who are experts in diseases of the urinary tract and the male reproductive system. Sometimes you might need to see a radiation oncologist. These are people who use radiation therapy to treat cancer, or a medical oncologist. These are people who treat cancer with medications such as hormone treatments and chemotherapy. You may need to see a pathologist. These are people who identify diseases by studying cells under a microscope. So there's so many.
Yeah, it's important to identify the physician that you need to see.
Yeah, and so for a lot of men, they may see their family doctor, but they may
As a
not
start.
go beyond that. And so I think
I want to interrupt.
And understanding the different tests that are involved, and also understanding, as someone said about a biopsy,
Right.
What does that entail?
So if I could interject, so starting with going to see your primary care physician and having a regular physical and blood work, would that be a great place to start?
Absolutely, it would be a great
Okay.
start.
I want to address a comment. Eric shares that Anne has a point, but when it's all said and done, the men are going to have to rely on their wives to get through that difficult time. That's if they're married. Agreed, if they're married. And she does have a point. Both should know each other's medical history. Remember, it's about loving and living. She absolutely has a point, because one thing she said that was very important was that men may not feel as comfortable talking about their health or their medical history if women are present. So I understand that. I definitely understand that point. I'm going to go to our phone lines because one of our family members is calling to join the conversation. Hello, and thank you for calling.
Hi. Hi.
Is this Miss Viola? Hi.
Hello to your guest. Yes, it is. I've been listening. I haven't called, but I've been listening. And I just thought that I would call based on this subject. As far as me being a cancer survivor, no, I don't have a prostate, but I know that it's very important to get yourself checked. And I would like to emphasize that we don't actually die from the cancer. We die from the fear of knowing that we may have it.
Wow.
And if we don't get ourselves checked, then before you know it, we give it a chance to grow and spread. And the next thing you know, we have to take medicine, chemotherapy, radiation. But I am here to say, come April 13th of this year, I will be a 41-year breast cancer survivor. I took no chemotherapy and no radiation. And it's very important that the men, my husband passed away from cirrhosis of the liver because he was a medic in the service, but he couldn't save himself based on the fact he drank, but he had throat cancer. The throat cancer did fine with the radiation, but when they gave him that first dose of chemotherapy, it went straight to his liver. So I emphasize that they got to make sure they get themselves checked right away because it's very important, And we die from the fear of knowing that it could be cancerous. It doesn't have to be. And like the doctor said, Dr. Bowen, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
And, it's important to go early. I've already told my 18-year-old grandson that by the time he's 30 years old, he should have an exam. And I emphasize I have son-in-laws, and you want to know someone that tells them or makes suggestions to them about what they need to do. I'm making suggestions all the time because I don't want them to be fearful. And you got a wife, my daughters. I'm quite sure that they know how I am. So I was just making the call based on the fact that we have to be sure that we stick behind the men and have patience and allow them to be able to deal with it. But with a wife's help, girlfriend, whoever, it will work out. But you have to get yourselves checked. What do they think we go through when we get ourselves checked every time we have a baby?
And when we don't, listen, listen. Yes.
Okay. So,
yes.
God didn't make no junk when he made these bodies.
No, he didn't.
The ones that mess them up. Yes. And for me to hear about them saying about the high fat content, it goes to show you that many of us ate a lot of high fat diets, meat, fat back, different things. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of things. We got to change our diet.
We do. We really do.
I didn't get cancer because my mother had it. I got it because I went through stress after she passed away. I was so stressed of not having my mom. So stress is a major part in our life, along with us, different things happening, and we just have to be aware of it and not be fearful. Not be fearful. We have to have ourselves checked. So
God bless you, Miss Viola. Oh my
I am
goodness.
so glad for this program. You just don't know. I could call 20 people and tell them to turn on Word and listen to this program. But I'm going to listen to the replay and make sure I have my tape recorder or my tablet, and I'm going to copy it.
Thank you so much, Miss Viola. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you for being there. Thank Word for being there. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And be careful out there. Dr. Bowen, could you sit tight for a moment? Do you have another moment to spend with us?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much, family. Welcome if you've just joined us. But for those of you who've been here, welcome anyway, too, because we love having you here. What we're going to do right now is take a short commercial break. So stay with us because we'll be right back.
It's the WURD Hot 60. Hot 60. Here's the hottest 60 seconds you missed this week on Reality Check.
Associated Press basically did this lengthy report where they've even had to follow trucks that left prisons with some of the goods and services that prisoners had worked on. They actually followed them to find out where these trucks ended up, to be able to connect the work that prisoners did with the places where their work was picked up and sold and used. So they found from everything from Rice Krispie cereal, ballpark hot dogs, gold medal flour can be traced back to prisons, ending up on the shelves of supermarkets, including Kroger, Costco, and Whole Foods. And the Associated Press, as I said, this was a 2-year report. They sought information from all 50 states, linking hundreds of millions of dollars worth of transactions to agriculture-based prison labor in state and federal facilities over the past 6 years.
And that's your hottest 60 seconds this week from Reality Check on WURD Progressive Black Talk Media.
Party people celebrating 50 years of hip-hop, Passage Theater Company presents Ghetto Gods in Divine Land. Written by Richard Bradford and Anthony Martinez-Briggs and directed by Ozzie Jones. Set to the vibe, energy, and music of Trenton's own poor righteous teachers, this show explores the unheard community of Divine Land and how far its residents will go for reclamation of their resources. Ghetto Gods runs Thursday to Sunday, February 8th through 25th at the Mill Hill Playhouse in Trenton. Get tickets now at Passage, TheaTre.org.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which you make a group chat 3 months before so that nobody or anything is missing? Or your daughter's first birthday party. You planned it with such dedication that instead of the first, it felt like our 15's. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
In honor of Black History Month, WURD, in collaboration with First World Theater, presents Diamonds of the Diaspora, Black political figures and influencers in their own words. Edward Brooke, an alumnus of Howard University, was the first African-American elected Attorney General of any state and the first African-American popularly re-elected to the U.S. Senate, where he served 2 terms. This Republican senator was passionate about fair housing. According to the Washington Post, he sponsored the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which prohibited discrimination based on race, color, religion, or ethnicity, and later introduced the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, which allowed women to obtain credit independently of their husbands. April 10th, 1968. Senator Brooks spoke these words at the B'nai B'rith Humanitarian Awards dinner.
Exactly what can be done and how soon to achieve the harmonious integration of our Negro brothers into the general social structure. In its essential respect, I believe the agenda has already been written. Discrimination in housing has denied most Negroes access to decent homes and provided slumlords with essential captive market that has driven up the prices for an inferior housing available to the Negro residents. De facto residential segregation has thrown disproportionate numbers of underprivileged and culturally deprived children into urban schools ill-equipped to educate them. Poorly motivating and lacking encouragement from their peers or parents, these children bring little to their education and take little from it. While the cycle has repeated itself countless times in the Negro ghettos of central cities, the white middle class has been gravitating to the suburbs, eroding the city's tax base at the very time the urban core is experiencing increased demand for public services. This is a cycle which distinguishes the new ghetto from the old. The old ghetto thrived on hope. The new ghetto drowns on despair.
That's a speech by Edward Brooke, performed by Anthony Cooper of First World Theater. This Black History Month, we recognize the work and the political influence of Senator Edward Brooke. This Black History Month vignette was brought to you by Comcast, the Free Library of Philadelphia, and Bristol Riverside Theater. Celebrating Black excellence worldwide and bringing joy and power to the people. This is WURD 900 AM and 96.1 FM, Philadelphia. Streaming online on WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Well, hey there, family. We are back. Welcome to the top of the second hour of Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We've been talking with Dr. Earl Bowen Jr. We've been talking about prostate health. And Dr. Bowen, I'd ask you to just hang around for just a few extra moments with us because the time went by so quickly. But I'd like to know what you, well, first of all, I wanted to thank you, just extend our gratitude, the gratitude of your tribe and your village here at Love and Life for coming to impart some knowledge to just share with us. And we do hope that you will come back to visit with us again, please.
Love to do it, Carol. I would love to come back.
Thank
you. I'm open.
What will you leave with us today? What will you leave us with today?
I think there are some basic questions that men and women need to be prepared to pose to their doctors when they have appointments. And it's not a lot, but I just want to go through each one of the questions.
Mm-hmm.
First question is, what type of treatment do you recommend for my prostate problem? What do they recommend? Secondly, for men like me, has this treatment worked? How soon would I need to start treatment and how long would it last? If I need surgery, what are the benefits and what are the risk factors? Would I have side effects from surgery that could affect my quality of life? Are these side effects temporary or permanent? How long is recovery time after surgery? Will I be able to fully return to normal? How will this affect my sex life? And how often should I visit the doctor to monitor my condition? These are the basic questions that need to be answered, that you need to pose to your doctor. And then the final thing is to remember that the only real clear indication of prostate cancer is the result of a biopsy. And so if your symptoms or test results suggest prostate cancer, your doctor will refer you to a specialist urologist for a prostate biopsy. Biopsy is small tissue samples taken directly from the prostate. The doctor will take samples from several areas of the prostate gland. This will help lower the chance of missing any areas of the gland that may have cancer cells. Prostate cancer can be diagnosed only by looking at tissue under a microscope. So although it's important to get PSA, the DRE, and all of these things, it's really getting the biopsy and looking at that report, making sure you get a copy of it. And there are other things I won't go into now in terms of Gleason score and things like that. But if there are people that are interested in learning more about it, I would like to leave a number with
Please.
you where it can be contacted as area code 215 285.
What was that?
285 2932.
2932.
Yes, and we'll be getting our prostate cancer support groups the first week in April. And so, but we're actually doing our research now to sign people up who will be willing to come and keep those things going so that we can continue to deal with this problem that affects families. So with that, thank you very much for the invitation and look forward to coming back soon to talk more about how we're doing.
We can't thank you enough. I can't say that enough and have you understand and know. Thank you so much, Dr. Bowen, and we look forward to your next visit. We'll see you soon, okay?
Okay, take care. Right,
thank you. Bye-bye. Family, here we are. It is Monday, February 12th, and it is the day after Super Bowl 58. Yes, it is. Oh, so we had to make a special request, a special request, because we could not have a live event tomorrow and not discuss Super Bowl 58. So we had to do it today. So we begged our beloved Chris Murray to come and spend some time with us and just do a little recap. So family, I invite you to the conversation with none other than Chris Murray.
How y'all doing tonight? How you doing today? Well, I gotta say it was a heck of a second half. I thought San Francisco had every opportunity to blow the Chiefs out, and they didn't. And as it happens during the course of a game, you let a good team like the Chiefs hang around, and they inevitably got them in overtime. And I thought it was, like I said again, I thought San Francisco, they fumbled. They were driving on their first drive, and McCaffrey fumbles the ball, and then the Chiefs had an opportunity to score, and then they fumbled. I mean, it was just like I said, that first half was hard to watch, and basically I'm thinking San Francisco has every opportunity to win this game. But alas, as the Eagles found out last year, Patrick Mahomes figured out a way to get it done, and they won it in overtime. And I had to give the Chiefs their credit. Andy Reid is in that company of great coaches, and at the end of the day, the 49ers have only themselves to blame. But I gotta say one other thing, and there was a column in papers the other day in the Inquirer, and there was a column that basically said that, well, our own Jalen Hurts has a lot to learn from Brock Purdy of the 49ers in terms of leadership and being a rah-rah kind of guy. And on my show on Saturday, I kind of took umbrage with that because I don't think Jalen Hurts has anything to learn from Brock Purdy. I mean, Jalen Hurts, did take a team to a Super Bowl last year, and did carry the team even during a time when they were playing badly. So that article rubbed me the wrong way. It rubbed me the wrong way because Hurts, the team struggled. The whole team struggled last year. And as far as I'm concerned, I just felt like, come on, man. I mean, you're gonna say that Hurts is not a good leader because Hurts is kind of aloof. Well, not everybody is a raw slap a guy on the rear end kind of guy. Some guys are quiet and reserved. That's who Hurts is. Maybe maybe he can talk to his teammates and all that. But you can basically see the guy is a good leader. Has demonstrated how good he is as a leader in that locker room, and more importantly, he won. And everybody, I think, if the 49ers had won, there were more than a few people that were ready to say the old Brock Purdy is this great quarterback. And I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm not even hating on him, but I just don't like sometimes in the media, and I'm wondering if everybody who's listening to this broadcast, if you agree or disagree with me, and that's fine. A lot of people disagree with me, but at the same time, I mean, comparing Brock Purdy to Jalen Hurts is on another level than Brock Purdy. And you saw, last year at this time, Jalen Hurts outplayed Patrick Mahomes in that game last year. The only reason why he didn't win MVP because Patrick Mahomes had a great second half and the defense couldn't stop anybody. But in this game, I thought Brock Purdy was okay, but to confuse him with everybody's trying to, and he may eventually become that, and so might Jalen Hurts, so might Lamar Jackson, but I don't know. It was like I said, the article rubbed me the wrong way.
Understandably so. I'm in agreement with everything you said. Anything I would say would be repetition. I'm in agreement with everything you just said. Absolutely everything you just said. Eric shares, welcome back, Master Murray. Welcome back early. At what point of the Super Bowl was your heart racing when you felt your team or the team for which you were rooting was going to either win or lose?
Well, to be honest about it, I kind of felt that Kansas City was going to win. I didn't really feel my heart racing, but it was kind of like, okay, I know Mahomes is going to pull this out in some way. And I know that, when he was making plays with his legs, I said pretty much Frisco's in trouble. And, only way I would have stirred, from the love of football, it was an exciting game. And I love football. And I said that I would watch, even though a lot of people that I know who are friends of mine said they wouldn't watch because their team wasn't in it. But Patrick Mahomes, man, I was sitting there watching the game, just watching as a fan, just watching as a pure fan of football. Patrick Mahomes played his butt off in that game.
I will say one thing. I thought he was going to run more than he did. Now, let me be clear. I wasn't bothered one way or the other. I wasn't pressed one way or the other, but I did think he was going to. Yeah, I thought he was going to run the ball more than he did. Malcolm shares the first half was the fumble bowl.
Yeah, it was because both teams drove downfield and didn't come up with a score. They turned the ball over, and I thought it hurt San Francisco more to have that happen on that first drive. They could have established. Their sense of momentum because they were running it. Christian McCaffrey was running it down Kansas City's throats, and they could not stop him. And I'm sitting there like, okay, man, I'm looking at this game like Kansas City's in trouble. I didn't think they were going to come out of this particular game. But when you can't leave, you can't let a good team like the Chiefs hang around the game. It's just like you got to bury the Chiefs early. You got to bury right then and there.
Chris, to that point, you know what? I want to go back to the question that Eric asked when you were talking about at what point was your heart racing? Now, my heart didn't race because my team wasn't in it. So, but because I was watching, I wanted the 49ers to win. And in the first half, I really felt hopeful. I was really hopeful, and there was momentum, and there appeared to be a chance that they would. But by the time we got to halftime, I said, okay, so Kansas is going to come back and take this because there wasn't enough of a lead. It was like 10-3 at that point, or had they 3 at that point? Yeah, it was 10-3 at that point. So I said, okay, come on, y'all, because you would have to be there would have to be a much bigger gap in order for Kansas not to be able to come and take this game. So by the time we got to halftime, I said, okay, well, we already know whose game this is. We know whose game it's going to be. Nick, hey there, Nick. Nick actually has a question. Welcome to the conversation, Nick.
Good conversation.
Hey, Carol. Hey, Chris. Good seeing you guys. Good talking to you guys again. I had a question from a caller. They wanted to know how Chris felt about Kelsey. He had shoved Andy Reid.
Oh, we were going to talk about that?
Yeah, they wanted to know, like, if another, let's say AJ Brown had done that, what do you think the response would have been the same?
Wait, before you respond to that, let me tell the caller. Let me tell you how I already have the visual. Okay, I already had the visual ready to talk about this, because when I tell you, I said, what? This was what AJ Brown posted. He posted. If that was me, I would have been kicked out of the league.
Out of the league, yeah.
So we were already ready and prepared to talk about this. They had the audacity to even like drill down and say what they were discussing. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Come on now. But go ahead to, I'm sorry, caller, to have usurped the response to your question. So Chris, your response to the question.
Well, I'm going to say AJ Brown said it all. Had that been a black player, had that been T.O. a few years ago, oh my God, the city of Philadelphia would have wanted him to be run out of town on a rail. Okay. So, and like I said, again, everybody says you guys always bring up race. Those situations, and we live in a country where there's certain things we ain't gonna get away with without somebody saying what kind of dirty so and so's we are. And at the end of the day, first of all, I wouldn't have gotten in any coach's face like that, because that's disrespectful for the coach. But I guess they go at it like that, and that's fine. But
and he shoved him.
Yeah.
He shoved him. I'm sorry to interject. You see, I'm all hyped. He shoved him.
Yeah, he did. And in some situations, a black player does that. He's on the bench for the rest of the game. He was on the bench, but I guess they needed him, to win the game. But at the same time, I've never seen anybody in the pro, college, or even high school jump into a coach's face like that without some consequences and repercussions. And but that's, I don't know. Like I said, there's so many double standards in sports that it's not news and whatnot. It's almost like it's not news and what, but you should still point it out. Don't get it twisted. I'm going to point it out. Okay.
We were ready. Right. I was already ready with the visual. I said, I can't wait to have this conversation. I mean, again, like you said, this isn't new. This happens all the time. It's been happening. Racism is big. It exists. We know it exists, but it's blatant in sports as well, just as much as it is in everything else. But this is just, come on.
Right. Right. And AJ Brown is right. If that was me, I would have been kicked out of the league, vilified by the media, vilified by everybody,
Yes.
And that's something that, I mean, there was a point. I think even Jerry Rice, even young Jerry Rice's son, Rasheed Rice, was up, they had to pull him away from the coach because he was upset that he was wide open in the end zone. And, and I guess he saw, hey, if Kelsey could do it and all that, then maybe I can. But, I think it sets a bad precedent for the young players, because I don't think I don't think a player should ever go in a coach's face like that. And like I said again, they won the game. Everybody's happy. When you win, winning covers all kinds of sins. When you break it all down. And so from that standpoint, I can't argue with AJ. More I think about it, there's always a double standard. Our behavior becomes more amplified, even though these are football players. Football players come on. I've seen defensive players years ago with the Carolina Panthers go after their defensive coordinator, on the sidelines, and so I've seen lots of things like that happen. So it does happen. Although, like I said, with African American players, people like to blow it out of proportion, and I know people don't like for me to say that, but that's reality. It's the truth. I'm not going to not say the truth.
That's what it is. Malcolm shares that the Niners blew it the same way the Birds did. He also shares that Purdy is overrated. Joey Dixon is sending us love. He's saying a hello to everybody. And Malcolm says, real talk about McCafferty. I'm in agreement with everything you said as well. And he shares about this particular topic. He saw this post as soon as AJ posted it, as soon as he did. Craig Williams is joining us, and he shares, honestly, I had very little interest in the Super Bowl. I toughed it out until Usher's halftime performance, which was extraordinary because he incorporated my incredible frat brothers doing the shimmy and Alicia Keys in her hot red sequin bodysuit. Well, thank you for that, Craig. Thank you.
I'm gonna have to watch that later. I mean, I'm not a fan of watching halftime shows because you don't get like the premium shows you would pay for if you went to the concert, And people said it was Denise told me it was really good, and everybody that seems to be the consensus on Facebook. I had gone to the store to get some wings or something because I'm not a fan. I just want to see football.
Chris said, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this. Wait, family. Wait, Chris, I'm going to interrupt you because we got to run to a commercial break. But when we come back, I want to hear all about these wings. What kind of wings did you get? Family, stay with us. We are coming right back.
Stand with Word Radio as we continue to provide dynamic, progressive programming to inform and empower our people. We're living in unprecedented times, and we must stand together to protect and preserve Black Talk Media. Become a 4Word member with the annual membership price of just $90 or a digital member starting at just $5 per month. If you're already a 4Word member, sign up, family member, or a friend to help us continue making history. Start or renew your 4Word membership today. Visit wordradio.com/4word or wordradio.com/membership.
Tuesday's Mega Million jackpot now has an estimated annuity of $425 million. $425 million. So don't forget to play at your local retailer or online. Pennsylvania Lottery proceeds benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. Word Radio Digital Tip of the Month with Stephanie Humphrey is brought to you by Comcast.
We all love the convenience of online shopping, but don't blow your budget by falling for these online tricks. Pay attention to things that might get automatically added to your cart by default, like insurance on concert tickets or travel. Don't fall for the sense of urgency some sites create with countdown clocks or inventory trackers claiming that time is running out to buy. And don't be pressured into buying more than you need just to get the free shipping. If the additional items in your cart are more than the shipping cost, was it really free? Take advantage of how easy online shopping can be, but don't let it take advantage of you. Stay tuned to WURD for more tips and stay connected with us at wordradio.com.
Don't settle for bumps, ingrowns, and itch due to dry skin. Try Venus for pubic hair and skin, the razor and regimen specifically designed for your pubic area. Featuring a razor with patent irritation defense bar and skin care regimen that is dermatologist and gynecologist tested. Venus helps protect your pubic skin from shave irritation. Discover the full regimen of products at GilletteVenus.com.
Get a lot of advice about self-care these days, but one of the most important self-care steps we can take is making sure we're financially secure later in life. For small steps you can take to save for retirement, visit WeSaySaveIt.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
How deep is your love? How deep is your love?
February is a month of love, and Word has an exclusive new collection for this month only. Our I Love Word line features a t-shirt, stemless wine glass, hoodie, water bottle, coffee mug, and a tote bag. And guess what? If you're a member, then you can get those brand new items for 50% off in our Word shop. Join or renew to get your discount code via email. Go to wordradio.com/ILoveWord to start shopping now and show your love for your favorite radio station. That's wordradio.com/ILUVWURD.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black talk media, WURD.
What is love?
You're listening to Love and Life on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
I think I know what love is.
Well, hey there, family. Welcome back. You are tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media, on air and online at wordradio.com. We are talking with our sports guru. That's right, our oracle, Chris Murray. And we are talking about, you know what? Super Bowl 58. Well, family, you are commenting, and I'm going to share what you are sharing. Henry Purifoy shares, did you notice how the owner rubbed the black man's head? That goes way back in history. I missed that part. I missed that
part too.
I missed it, but I don't doubt that it happened. Arthur Leo Taylor shares, let's not forget the president of the United States called black players who knelt in protest, sons of bees. Yeah, I don't think any of us will ever forget that. That was just beyond words. Mm-hmm. Eric shares, you ain't lying, but he had the Swifties in the house. Had they benched him for the shove, the crowd would have been in an uproar. Yeah, that whole thing is just here we go. I'm speechless tonight. Go figure. But that whole thing about Taylor
Spice, though.
You you were checking out Ice Spice. You know, Denise is going to get you. She is going to get you. She is going to get you. Joanne shares, keep the truth. She also Joanne Kemp shares, Andy Reid said it's not the first time. It's okay. What? And Joey Dixon shares, different strokes for different folks. And that's absolutely right. We do know that to be true. Craig follows up by sharing that he thought Kelsey's assault of Andy Reid was appalling, beyond the pale, and his privileged butt should be on the apology tour. He shares that he lost a ton of respect for him. Perhaps his celebrity girlfriend needs to be on high alert for his apparent anger issue. Just saying. That's a good point to make. To make. Harry Wims shares, hello, sending love to everybody. Hey there, Harry, sending it right back to you. And Joanne Kemp shares, Travis was just showing off for Tay-Tay. That's what that was. Let me tell you, that temper tantrum did not look like it was new to Travis. No. It did not look like that. Did not look like it was new, and nor did it look like that was a new exchange between him and Andy Reid.
No, it wasn't, and I think that a lot of people are going to say that he was passionate about playing. I still remember years ago when Diamond McNabb, when Terrell Owens was in Diamond McNabb's face, and everybody felt that, T.O. was, dissing Donovan McNabb. And, it was to a point to where, sometimes, I don't know, I don't think it's necessary to yell and scream at a coach or whatever, or the other way, like the way the Denver, Sean Payton, yelled at Russell Wilson. I don't think that yelling at people is always the right way to go, because that and what we're learning, that's, you can't verbally abuse somebody because you disagree with them and all that. And I don't think he should have gotten in Reed's face like that. And like I said, had that been a black player, everybody, all the conservatives will be out there talking about
everybody.
People are just out of control, and that's all That's always the implication. See, we can't be passionate. We can't be any type of, different type of personality and all that without somebody trying to ascribe some sort of dysfunction to it. And
Agreed.
and that's why, that's why a lot of times we often have an issue with that, because there are a lot of things, and I'm sure in a lot of our experiences in the workroom, I remember being an intern years ago, seeing white guys get away with stuff. If I came into work late, if I missed the deadline by 1 minute, people were looking at me like I was crazy. And
Chris,
so,
that's the same world right now, right? That same world exists. That wasn't just when you were an intern. That exists right now.
It exists today.
Yeah,
no doubt. And the thing is, years ago they got on Cam Newton when he was coming out of college, how he said he wanted to be iconic, and all these white sports writers said, "Come on, man, you need to stop." I mean, he's young. We can't have youthful exuberance, or we can't express ourselves without somebody saying that we're acting up and all this other stuff. And that's the hypocrisy of it all to me. You can, if we do something, oh my God, it's just these kids from these urban areas are just dysfunctional. I mean, and I know, and I know I'm kind of doing, my imitation, but that's the thing of it. We can't, or if a Jalen Hurts is somewhat aloof from his teammates and tries to lead by example, oh well, he needs to be this guy, he needs to be that guy, and there's always these weird things that people try to impose upon African Americans that people get tired of me saying it. I mean, I can't, and I'm going to point it out as long as I can point it out.
And as we were saying, it's across the board, because we as Black people are not expected to express ourselves or to get excited or to be upset about anything, because when women, we become the angry Black woman if we have any excitement to anything we say, and the men, then you're animals. Our Black men are animals. I am tired of that narrative. I'm tired of it continuously being pushed. I'm tired of it of when anyone else is upset. There's a different narrative, because as we saw with Kelsey, the spin on it was that, oh no, Andy Reid said it was okay, and did you see his outfit, and blah 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 blah. What I want to do right now, before we all get in an uproar, even more of an uproar, is go to our phone lines. One of our family members has been waiting to join the conversation. So thank you so much, number one, for your patience, and thank you for joining the conversation. Welcome.
First of all, I would like to say good evening, Miss Carol.
Good evening to you.
Looking at the Super Bowl was almost like looking at the WWF. But fast forward, I was entertained. Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of love. I mean, you had Jigga, Queen B, and you got Kelsey, Miss T, Miss Swift. For two power couples. It's like a movie. Well, that's my opinion. I can't call it racism. I love you all. Happy Valentine's Day.
Love you as well. Happy Valentine's Day to you too. And thank you so much for calling. Chris, I think you sparked something, because he was talking about the power couples and talking about who was in the box. And you started it when you talked about Ice. Isn't that her name?
I guess that's her name. I mean, I don't listen to. I've heard some of the music. I'm not a fan of it for a lot of reasons and all that. I mean, I will give her. I give her the cuteness thing, but I just thought it was. I just think it's interesting. I mean, you and I offline, we gotta have a conversation about that. We definitely do, but I don't know. For some reason, because I think you were asking me about Wings and the Usher concert.
I sure was. You said, look, I missed halftime because, well, you missed it intentionally. You said because you went to get wings. You said, I don't do all that stuff.
I mean, it's not that I don't. Although I did like when I went to when I went to the Super Bowl between the Seahawks and the Broncos. I did like Bruno Mars, and I like past Super Bowl, concerts and all that. I just think that when I go to a concert and everything, I want to go to a concert. I want to go. Yes, there's football involved. Like if I see you in concert, there doesn't need to be any other event involved but Carol Riddick singing. Okay, that's what that's what I come to see and whatnot. And I just don't like because all of a sudden talks about it gets into the whole celebrity, our worship of celebrities and all that. Although Denise kind of harangued me yesterday, saying you missed the best part of the game. I was like, did you watch the overtime? I mean, but I come off as a curmudgeon-y old man, when it
You're
comes to
curmudgeon. Chris, don't be a curmudgeon.
Yeah, although I jokingly said on Facebook, what? No Earth, Wind, and Fire? No Ohio players?
Listen. Well, wait, I see a comment that Malcolm made that I want to hear you address. Malcolm shares that he heard someone call Jalen arrogant on a certain sports station down the dial.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is arrogant. Brett Favre was a little, all the court, Troy Aikman was a little arrogant. I mean, but that's another thing. There it is again. You can't be arrogant and a lot of people don't like when black men are arrogant. Ask the late Muhammad Ali. No one likes when a black man has, that kind of self-confidence. And it goes back 100 years ago to Jack Johnson. Nobody likes when a black man has a little bit of swag. And that's, to me, that was Jack Johnson was the guy who officially, invented swag in sports. I'm making that claim.
Okay, Jack Johnson invented swag in sports.
Yeah, I think he did. I mean, he had the clothes, he had the gold teeth, and he had self-confidence. And I'm not mad. If we want to say a guy is arrogant and aloof and all this other stuff, okay, here we go. Lots of quarterbacks are arrogant. Lots of quarterbacks. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is the epitome of that. I mean, you got a lot of quarterbacks that are basically kind of aloof. There was one quarterback that I grew up watching as a kid who used to say one thing: "Talk is cheap. Let's win the game." And that's the late Johnny Unitas. But that was a long time, 100 million years ago, because I lived in that last century. So that's the thing. But it's okay. See, that's the whole thing. We can't be arrogant or self-confident and all these other things. You can't have that because for some reason that is still a fact. I don't know why that is. I mean, Nick, can anybody explain why that is? Because every time, and this is why this is the whole comparison to Brock Purdy. Oh, he's just a regular slap happy kind of guy. And Donovan McNabb was like that too. And McNabb was, everybody said McNabb is never serious. He doesn't have the heart. I mean, it's always it's the cycle going over. It's either too arrogant, you're arrogant, or you're like McNabb coming out playing the guitar and to get a playoff game and all that. So I don't know what folk want.
Well, before I go to our comments, Nick, I know you had a comment. What were you about to say?
Yeah, I think it's so silly to accuse of all people Jalen Hurts of being arrogant. I mean, this is the same guy who after every game, he basically goes, yeah, it was my fault. I didn't step up. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Regardless of whose fault it was during the game. This is the guy who always very humbly speaks to the media. If he's winning, then he's not up there going, yeah, that's right. I'm Jalen Hurts and this is what we do and all this other. He keeps his head down. He says what he needs to say. Some people think he's a little cheesy with all his little quotes that people think he rehearses. But I mean, honestly, all those things that they say about black quarterbacks or I should say quarterbacks who are cocky, Jalen Hurts is the opposite of that. And to see that he's not even acting like that and people are still going, I don't know, this guy's a little, and it's like, what are you talking about? This guy, he's everything that a lot of these people claim that they want a quarterback to be like. It's just that if he's not winning a game or something like that, or if things start going wrong, then all of a sudden it's all on him. I think it's completely ridiculous.
They just want to complain.
They got to complain about something, but
he just want to complain.
Jalen Hurts I don't know. He's really not that. Even somebody like Lamar Jackson isn't like that, and I think he's more confident, but I wouldn't call him cocky or anything like that. It's wild. I think people just they make up stuff about Jalen Hurts and just stick it to his forehead. It doesn't make any sense. It's wild.
They really do. It's sad though. It really is sad. It really, really is sad that they do so. But I mean, this is the world in which we live. I do want to. Oh, go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say I was just agreeing with you that this is what it is, and but the only problem is that when you point out the double standards, everybody wants to double down and say, "Oh, you shouldn't say that." Well, it's like if you're going to attack somebody, you're going to attack something about someone's character, you got to expect there's going to be pushback, and don't get mad. Don't get mad at the response of the community when things of that nature happen. That always gets me. When you a bully can kind of push you around. When he pushed him back, he's like, "You can't push me back because I'm a bully." I mean, that's the country we live in. That's the country we live in. So,
that's exactly what it is right there. You can't push the bully back. You can't do that. Right. The bully wants to say, "Wait a minute. Family, it's time for us to take just a short commercial break. But don't worry, when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. I see the comments you are leaving. We will share them when we come back. And Chris still hasn't told us what kind of wings he went to get during the halftime show that he missed. So family, stay with us because we are coming right back.
Junior Achievement is where dreams take flight. We are helping students connect what they learn in school to future work and career success. We are teaching them how to manage money to achieve financial security as adults. And we are showing them that starting a business also means changing lives and communities. However, we can't do it alone. Go to ja.org to learn more.
Want the latest in word swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDTV.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. It's the shop tab on WURDTV.com. You can look good and show the world that you're all about Black Talk Media.
It's too black, which means it's too strong.
We're celebrating Black influence and Black excellence worldwide on the home of progressive Black Talk Media, WURD.
Let me tell you something, and don't you ever forget it. Success is nothing without someone you love to share it with.
You're listening to Love and Life with Carol Riddick on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media.
Hey, family, welcome back. You're tuned in to Love and Life with Carol Riddick right here on WURD. We are talking with Chris Murray, and you know what we're talking about. We're talking about Super Bowl 58. That's right, me, Chris, and Nick, and you. We're talking about it all. We're talking about all of it, quite honestly. Chris did share with me during commercial break that he had, just regular buffalo wings for those who were interested in knowing, with some blue cheese dressing. Okay. I thought, he's going to have lemon pepper. But
lemon pepper. Now
lemon pepper. Is that
no lemon pepper? Is lemon pepper any good? I mean, I like
lemon pepper. What's wrong with lemon pepper? But wait, I want to get to these comments before I get beat down for having my lemon pepper. Well, I didn't have them, but for saying that I like lemon pepper wings. So Harold shares, look at how quiet the media is about the hockey players' rape allegations in Canada. I didn't hear anything about that, Harold. That's really quiet.
About that. Wow.
I didn't hear about that. And Eric shares, Chris, I agree with you 100%. But speaking on it will eventually expose it. Thank you for keeping it real and being transparent. Gary shares, they don't like it when a black man has confidence. Let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it real. Arthur shares, one of the greatest athletes of all time was considered cocky, and that was none other than Muhammad Ali. But he really was the greatest. He really was. He really was. Eric shares, it's a very competitive sport with high stakes and high energy. At some point, every team member is on edge. How about that? How about that? How about that?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you have to be playing sports if you don't think you're the best so and so in the world and what, and it's the same thing over in T world. When you go out there and perform, don't you feel a sense of, you know what, I'm better than Aretha Franklin today. You know,
Ooh,
I mean, I mean,
don't you?
I'm just saying. I'm not
Get me
saying you
jammed
do.
up.
Yeah. I'm not saying you do, but it's a feeling of like you have to be self-confident. Like sometimes, even coming on the air, you know, sometimes I have to kind of relax. I have to say, you know, because I got all these things on my mind. But when that thing comes over, Chris Murray Bull, WURD, here's Chris Murray. You know, I got to be, you know, I have to be at that point where I feel like I'm the best guy out there and whatnot, you know. And it's the same thing I used to feel in sports, except when I got into high school, when I was running and I had running track with a bunch of guys who were way bigger, taller, faster than me. Okay, you know, I'll just say, well, I'll just give it the old college try. But there's a certain point when you're out there in any sport, any endeavor, when you go on stage, if you don't have that supreme belief in yourself and whatnot, you're not going to get anywhere. You know, I can, you know, like I said, you know, just when those lights come on, you have to be, you know, you have to be ready to dance and all that. You know, you got to be ready, you know, because I remember in my school play in high school, I had to dance along, I had to dance with people and whatnot. And you know, I ain't got that much rhythm.
Nick, now you hear him talking about dancing again. Now listen, we still want to see this dancing. Remember, somebody said they heard you did a split, and we're still waiting.
I've never done a split. If I've done a split, then I probably would have had a couple of you know messed up hamstrings and all that. I do that. I'm gonna tell you, so I can barely bend down right on my knees, and it takes me about. I have to think about getting up. Like, come on, man.
Hush, Chris. Hush. Listen, Malcolm shares Ali was cocky, but he could back it up. How about that?
Yeah.
And Gary shares, yes, he was, without a doubt. Joanne Kemp shares, I guess Jalen doesn't fit into the mold they want for a black man in that position. But Tom Brady can be arrogant, and they love him. You can't win. They eventually get to the money he's being paid. How about that? Joey Dixon shares, everybody is a star in their own right. How about that? And Harry asks, where's Baba Ron? Ron was here. Everybody is a star in their own right. How about that? I do say, don't I tell y'all, we are all extraordinary. We all are. But I agree with you, Joanne. I definitely agree with you. I don't know what Jalen is being paid, and I don't know what Tom Brady was being paid, but I'm sure there was a huge difference. I don't. Chris, do you know anything about
Jalen at one point did have the highest salary. I think it was like the $250 million, something like that, up in that area. But I think someone else signed the contract, and they're higher than. But those guys are getting a lot of money, and you know, I mean, I don't know why is it. It's one of those things where you know you got to win. There's going to be a lot of criticism for that money, and you have to win. And although the way Patrick Mahomes is going, I don't think a lot of guys are going to win much of anything if he keeps playing the way he's playing. But I just think at the same time, you know, a lot and Philadelphia has, you know, historically, according to what people have told me since I've been here for the last 20 years, is that you know, for some reason there's still this resentment of one of the brothers making that kind of money in this sort of blue collar kind of town. I mean, my thing is I want I want everybody to make. I want everybody to make money. You know, if you want to better your working conditions, tell your unions, your reps to, hey, pay us more money because everybody deserves it. And at the end of the day, I look at someone like Jalen Hurts' beginnings were humble. I mean, Jalen Hurts got benched in the national championship game. I mean, and he's always had to prove himself in the game. He's always had to, prove himself. And when the 1 year he had stability with the offensive coordinator, he went to the Super Bowl. This year he has another offensive coordinator. So he's got to find some stability. And I think he's the type of guy that will go back and work even harder the next year. And I think he was aloof this year, probably a little bit more. I think he was hurt. I think that he was a lot more hurt than what he let on. And perhaps, and it's kind of like, maybe whatever surgery he has to get it now and become healed up for the season. Kind of like with Joel Embiid and everything with the Sixers, because the Sixers right now, that's another subject. But the Sixers right now, if Embiid was playing, I would say they're a contender. Right now, the Sixers are just trying to survive, advance, just trying to find some chemistry, some general chemistry, and try to salvage some of what's left of this season. And so, sometimes you gotta, it's not going to always be, peaches and cream and anything like that. Sometimes it's going to be a struggle. I mean, but my thing is just to come back, going back to Hurts. I just think that, hey, come back next year, prove yourself, because I think he realizes he has to prove himself all over again. And I think he's going to be proving himself for the rest of his career and the rest of his career and his time, because he can't slip up. He can't have any more bad years. He can't at all, because people are running town. And I don't think that's fair, but
Craig wants you to know that you just might experience heart palpitations while viewing Alicia Keys' Super Bowl duet with Usher. So he wants you to be on alert. He just wants you to be on alert. Gary shares that we all know there's absolutely a double standard when it comes to black and white. That's what Gary shares. And Philip shares that he is in agreement with you, complete agreement with you. Malcolm shares he's concerned about who will be around him next season.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
I don't know,
that's a good
because
concern.
Jason Kelce I think he might be on the verge of retirement. And
I saw something that read he had retired. It was some little something that he and his wife had gone to Disney World or Disneyland or something, and said this is the beginning of his retirement or something like that. So I wasn't aware that he had. I don't know.
He hasn't officially announced it yet.
Right. But they were speaking as if he had. They said this is, the beginning of his retirement. I'm sorry to interject, but they were saying that this was the beginning of his retirement. So I said, well, wait, did I miss the announcement? Did he finalize it? Did he, but he said he said, look, there will be no doubt about when I'm retiring. You will know. So now I said, well, okay, well, what is this?
I don't know. I mean, I think he's going through that period, that period of time when you think about, today I'm going to retire, but then I want to get back to it because I might miss it. I think that he's at that point where, he's trying to figure out what he's going to do and all that. And I don't think he's come to that conclusion yet. On one hand, he might be ready to retire, but it's one of those things. It might be a case of when you're going to catch him, because sometimes we make these decisions like, I say, hey, I'm going to retire, but then you're back, and you missed the game and all this other stuff. And a lot of guys, and you have to kind of find that fine line about whether or not you're going to hang around too long, because it's no fun. It's like that old thing of being the old guy in the club and whatnot, and you just can't. There is a point where you have to exit stage left. You have to just exit and get out, because this game, you can age in this game. I've seen fighters hang around too long. I've seen a lot of the Patriots players in one Super Bowl just hang around too long, who are older veteran players trying to get a ring. And you can see you can see the wear and tear. You see guys not shadow themselves and what have you. And it's painful to watch.
Yeah, that's in any profession. Quite honestly, that in any profession is painful, so painful to watch. Chris, I'm looking at the time. I hate that it's time for us to go, but I want to just say thank you publicly as well for just accommodating us always and for fitting us into your schedule, because I know it was a late ask. So thank you so much for coming to talk with us about Super Bowl 58, talking all things sports. I so enjoy your visits. So thank you for obliging and accommodating us.
Carol, it's always a pleasure to have you on and whatnot. And like I said, it's always good. I guess I'm gonna come out. I want to see you. I want to see and hear you sing. And I have various recordings. You're there.
Thank you so much. All right, family. Chris, we will see you, God willing, next week. All right. Family. Here we are. Just a few things. First and foremost, just praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Thank you, you all. I want to remind you that tomorrow we have our live event, our live love and life event, but you can tune in because we will be streaming, and you can check us out everywhere you will find WURD. So I want you to be mindful of that. So you don't say, Carol didn't tell us. Well, she's telling you now. Yes, I am. Also, I do just want you to be mindful of your Black History moment that was shared. Rosa Parks and Claudette Colvin. That's right. Colvin. Yes. Thank you to all of our guests tonight. If you do want Dr. Bowen's number, it's 215-285-2932. So you can talk with him about prostate health. Yes. When we talk with Chris next week, we're going to ask Chris about his book. I completely forgot. Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. So when we talk with Chris next week, we'll talk with him about his book so he can share with us how we could get it. Thank you to everybody. Happy birthday to all of our love bugs. I think I'm forgetting something, but in any event, family, we're all in this together. Be good to you, but be good to those around you. God loves you, but so do I. Have a great rest of your night. I'll see you in person tomorrow, but be sure to join me for the remainder of the week, 7 till 9 p.m. Eastern time, for another edition of Love and Life with Carol Riddick, right here on WURD, Progressive Black Talk Media. Good night, family.